the conflicts, focusing on different species with human habitats. We have another session now that is on the case studies, case study presentations. And as I have been very casually talking to many colleagues here, this concept sounds like a data outlier in this entire deliberation of all the 72 hours under this roof, but this is one of the most important vertical of land when you consider that as a resource. So that's what, looking into the lack of thickness of audience in the hall, I will not say thin audience, lack of thickness, this is an indicator that there is an urgent need to spread the message far and wide. That land is not just about land rights, but land is also a resource, and wildlife, I mean to say wild animals, are equal stakeholders of land. So to guide us through all this case study presentation, we have 4 case study presentations. Those who are not there in the morning session, I am Anjan Pusti, a researcher and a teacher in the Department of Environmental Science, Barampur University. And to guide us and to facilitate the entire session, we have with us Professor Somnath Bandyopadhyay sir. He was one of the founder professors of School of Ecology and Environmental Studies at Nalanda University, Rajgir. A trained wetland ecologist, a product of School of Environmental Science from Jawaharlal Nehru University. Then he spent almost 3 decades. He had very, I don't know, it was luck or it was destiny or he had planned it well in advance. All the 30 years he had apportioned equally in government sector, academia, university system and development sector. And currently he identifies himself as one of the development ecologists. And that's where I thought he should be a very befitting person to guide all of us and evaluate even the work that we have been doing as how ecology can sustain in the era of development. Over to you, sir. The panel and floor is yours. Sir, we have 4 presentations by 4 of our research team members. And these presentations are actually a part of one of the ongoing longitudinal study. Yeah, definitely this is something which all the gathering outside also would understand, because this is precisely what they do, longitudinal study in social sciences on human wildlife conflicts for the entire Eastern Ghats region for a 15 years program. So for the first 5 years we have taken the Odisha part. There are 3 major range states, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Karnataka and Telangana, they have only 5% representation. So our major focus is on Odisha, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. So first phase it is Odisha region. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. And I look forward to the presentations. And I think the most interesting thing that got my attention was the human-wildlife coexistence. We are used to hearing human-wildlife conflicts, right? And so a slight change in the terminology changes your mindset and your approach and how you look at things. So it is really not about conflicts, it's about coexistence. We have to coexist. There is no doubt that we can really carve out and live in isolation, grand isolation. You can't. So that's the basic premise. So if you have to coexist, there has to be some ways. So thank you, Professor Pusti. It's an honor and a privilege to come here, meet old friends, make some new friends, get to know some good ideas. And that's a big gain, I guess. Okay, look forward to the... Yeah.
So who is going to the first one? Yeah. And those who are not there in the morning session, a piece of information, there is a QR code in the banner. So you can always scan and download our first knowledge product from the project. That is entitled Towards a Shared Future. So we really look forward for a shared future.
So should I sit?
Yes. Yeah. can also
See that, that's right. Isn't it?
Anjan, mic.
Or you can actually sit
Huh,
here.
sir. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Good evening to the respected chairperson in the dais, my dear colleagues and all researchers and my dear fellows. Today, as sir said, this is a case study of our ongoing project. Today, I represent some of our ongoing project work on human-wildlife conflict in the Eastern Ghats region of Odisha. But as a part of my work, I now present the human and sloth bear conflict and how to coexist the conflict with the conflict in Odisha. Did you see any difference in this picture, like the iconic adaptability and the vulnerable in the conflict? In this picture, the first image so that the sloth bear is in its natural habitat, but gradually the conflict intensity is increasing day by day due to various anthropogenic pressure, habitat loss, forest degradation. If we didn't take it as consideration, then after 30 to 40 years, maybe this picture look like that, the vulnerable in conflict. Then the sloth bear, if we talk about bear species, there was 8 bear species found in the whole world. Among them, sloth bear is one of the bear species which is extant to India and Indian subcontinental like Nepal, Sri Lanka and some parts of Bhutan. If we talk about its evolutionary history, then the graph show that sloth bear are evolved around 5 to 6 million years ago from the northern group of bears, brown bear. Then they are migrated to Indian subcontinent, but due to some natural barriers like Himalayas and other factors, they are present only in India and the periphery countries. The bear species was divided into 2 groups, like northern group and southern group. The northern group of bear like polar bear, brown bear and American black bear, and which are large in size, but in the southern group of bears are like sloth bear and sun bear are smaller in size, but their hybridization is Asiatic black bear, which is intermediate size, and there is also a subspecies that called spectacle bear. If we consider as its morphology, during the evolutionary process, as they are mammophagy, like they preliminary diet is insects, anteater, so their the snout portion and the claw are developed accordingly for the succession of the insect from the termite mounds or insect. Then their preliminary diet except insect like fruits, honey and other fruiting flowers is also. If in this slide you show the ecological importance of the sloth bear, like other wild animal, elephant or many others, it's the sloth bear shows some ecological importance in seed dispersal, which is also consequence in forest seed dispersal, which is stop from degradation land to convert a degraded land into a forest area by seed dispersal and insect control in the forest. As a mechanism of forest ecosystem, if in a forest fire there was completely loss of the insect population, then it's directly impact to the sloth bear population also. Like habitat preference, they different forest type, they basically use dry deciduous forest, rocklands, scrubland, etc. In this slide, niche sharing and overlap with humans, the root conflicts, as we called its conflict, but now we didn't consider a wildlife or any other animal interaction with human as conflict until or unless it is not negative. If the interaction is negative, then we called only its conflict between human and wildlife, other species. The reason between the conflict is resource sharing, overlapping, etc. Like in this picture, sloth bear is in its natural habitat, and human is in their natural habitat. But when the sloth bear comes to the human area, dominated area, and human are go to the forest area for NTFE collection or other purpose, the resource and the land sharing is overlap between them, and when the interaction of between human and sloth bear or other wildlife species occurs, and the conflict arises when the sloth bear attacks the human or vice versa. Then the main reason for the interaction or conflict is like population fragmentation, resource overlap, and no doubt infrastructure development. For that, which we cut down the forest area and for any developmental purpose. Based on the previous research work in Odisha landscape on sloth bear, we find out like 5 major questions in which area we focus on our research. Like in first, how does the habitat fragmentation and resource overlap intensify human sloth bear conflict? For that purpose, we have to first preliminary study. Need preliminary study. For preliminary study, we need to understand the ecology and habitat use pattern and behavior of sloth bear. For that, we can use camera trapping survey, transit survey. For socio-economical survey, we follow the household survey. Then, according to the basis of this data, we can implement this on GIS mapping and identify the core area and habitat used by the sloth bear. But what happens when the habitat fragmentation occurs, and what was the consequence of sloth bear interaction, human sloth bear interaction, like loss of forest area and habitat, which intensify the sloth bear to go outside the forest and enter to the village area and human habitation, and human also, like many tribal people are forest dependent, they for their livelihood purpose, so they directly or indirectly interact with sloth bear, and the conflict arises. And more conflict arises in the village area, like forest trees area, where day-to-day daily life basis work, they depends on their forest as well as the village area. During that time, various timing like early morning, late evening, those are the time when human and sloth bear interaction are high. This is the responsible factor for human sloth bear conflict. As I said, Odisha in the landscape where sloth bear are found, all the area are majorly dominated by tribal people, who is depending on NTFE collection. So this graph, as per the literature, this graph show highest NTFE collection is the major factor for human sloth bear conflict, and gradually the cattle grazing, agricultural activity, and day-to-day other activities of daily life. The second research question is, what are the major drives of human sloth bear interaction in Odisha landscape? Basically, you saw the images in the map. We divided the Eastern Ghat landscape of Odisha into three categories. The upper part is the northern Odisha part, which is Moyurbhanj, Baleswar and Keonjhar district, and the central part is Dhenkanal, Angul, Baudh, Nayagarh district, and the southern is Malkangiri, Koraput, Navranpur district. The main things in those area, in Baleswar area particularly, those are many of stone crusher, stone mining area, which is intensify the human slothfare conflict by degraded and loss of their dam and habitat. Similarly, in Moyurbhanj, both in the three districts, Moyurbhanj, Baleswar, and some Moyurbhanj, Keonjhar, and some parts of Baleswar, the forest dwelling people are collecting the NTAP, and also we found that they prepare country liquor near to the fringe area, or sometimes inside the fringe area, which attract the sloth bear. Basically, sloth bear depends on mohua, and the tribal people of that region also prepare country liquor from mohua, basically, which attracts also sloth bear for that reason. In central Odisha region, in Angul, Dhenkanal, those parts is also tribal dominated. These are common things. But the another things is mines. In Angul region, there are coal mines, and Dhenkanal and Sundargarh part there are iron ore mines, which is intensify the human sloth bear conflict. And in the southern Odisha, there is also the same factor, NTAP collection. And another new things we got now, that majorly in Navranpur and Malkangiri district, they do some farming, fruit farming like dragon fruit, strawberry, which leads to sloth bear come to the farm area. And this is the case study in Baleswar district, recent case study, which show the interaction and the major place where the sloth bear attacks to the humans, like fringe area of forest, agriculture field, and the impact of sloth bear on human, like human injury, death, and other crop losses, how property damage. The upper image is show the active stone mining area, and these three bottom three pictures show how the sloth bear attack is dangerous to human and how it happened after the. If we came to 3R, rescue, rehabilitation, and release, a major initiative taken by Government of Odisha and Forest Department. They established a rescue team basically in southern Odisha district. The first image is from Jaipur division, which a sloth bear fall down in the abandoned well. The rescue team rescue the sloth bear and rehabilitate and release again in the forest. The lower picture is in Navranpur division. The same things. The sloth bear is rescued from the fruit farm area. Then, how does physical, biological, and socio-economic factor impact the sloth bear and its conflict, and how we reduce this? For this purpose, we need the various physical factor like the habitat use and habitat patterns of sloth bear, biological factor like sloth bear's food availability, diet, and socio-economical factor, the economical losses and other anthropogenic activities done near the sloth bear habitat. For this, we prepare a multi-layer frame, and this work is in progress because this take a long study and large amount data to intensify this. Then how the land use changes, intensify and regulate the human sloth bear conflict. As you saw in this graph, during last 3 decades, 2005 to 2024, the agricultural land in Odisha is regularly increased day by day, which ultimately result the habitat encroachment in the forest area. The local peoples are enclosed in the forest area and do agricultural practices day by day, and it increase. So the agricultural land changes is also a major factor for sloth bear attack and conflict. These are some graph graph of Odisha, how sloth bear mortalities and the reason of mortalities in Odisha between 2014 to 28. And this is the sloth bear human conflict around India and compared to Odisha. Then the impact, just I say before, our recent case study is in Baleshwar, and which was the major hub of stone mining. Based on the literature, a previous literature, we found some of like habitat destruction and biodiversity losses, hunting, poaching are the major factor for sloth bear conflict in that area. But during our current study, we also found not all, but something similar to the literature. When we come to compensation scheme, it's a large gap between the local community authorities, because measure of area, the local communities, tribal communities didn't know even about the compensation scheme. What are the compensation scheme, how they get this. Basically in the Koraput Malkangiri area, major human attack, sloth bear attack has happened, but they didn't know even there about the compensation scheme.
1 minute 30 seconds.
The last, how we spatially and temporally mitigate the resource competition and reduce the conflict. As we have to need large scale ecological study to identify the habitat and other factor for sloth bear. Then we separate the factor in spatial and temporal pattern, like use of space. We recommend based on the use of space, we recommend that the space used by both sloth bear and human to reduce this. Like if sloth bear come to human habitation, we make some barrier like fencing, or in human enter to the forest area, we regulate some time limit, circadian time, lunar time. Based on this, we can mitigate this, and this also need a large scale study. So that's why this was also in progress. In future perspective and conservation goal, these all like we have to study about their this need more study about the ecology and the socio-economical impact also. After that, we can taken some measure goals to reduce this conflict. And road to coexistence, these are the ecological habitat and habitat management, like habitat restoration, development of corridors and underpass, overpass like this, and food and water resource management inside the forest area, how they didn't depend on the agriculture land or human habitation for their basically the wildlife. And for human case, we take measure like alternate livelihood, and also regulate and track their livelihood practices, how this alternate livelihood is helpful for them or not. Not only to give them some alternate livelihood and stop there, but we need to regular investigate their impact and is this helpful or not. Behavioral and spatial zoning, which I elaborate, and policy, and most important, policy and research. After all the studies, we can concluded in a policy framework in which we can recommend some new policy, how to mitigate and how to reduce the conflict in a conflict and coexist with the wildlife, not only sloth bear but all other wildlife also. And we most importantly, we need landscape level planning, which was majorly important nowadays. Thank you. This is our research team. And if any question,
Thank you, Jadishankar. This was wonderful. You kept more or less to time. I think around 15 minutes is what we can keep for
It's like
every. Yeah. So what I would suggest is that we have one or two comments which is specific to this, because there would be 4 similar kind of presentations. So the overarching discussion we can park it for the end when we have all the presentations done. But if there are any quick burning comments on this particular thing, whatever he has shared in terms of methodology or approach or anything, he may like to respond. If not, then I think it was good. We will come back and have greater discussions.
Sure.
Right? Thank you. So it informed a lot about the way humans and sloth bears interact, and sloth bear is one example that we are looking at here. So let's look at the next one.
Next.
नजदीक माइक को पास जोर से बोलो
Good evening, respected Chair Professor Bandyopadhyay and all the other dignitaries. I'd like to welcome you to in my presentation. Today I am going to talk about the human-leopard interaction in the forest habitat and its conservation in eastern Ghats region of Odisha.
It's not audible.
माइक काम नहीं कर रहे थे
नजदीक बैठो
Yes, yes.
Hello.
Voice speech is low usually. मुझे गाइडेंस में समझ नहीं पाता
थोड़ा जोर से बोलो
Today I want to talk about the human-leopard interaction in the forest habitat and its conservation in the eastern Ghats region of Odisha. Despite the current trends, increasing leopard exists in 4 different countries in South Asia, India, Nepal, Bhutan, and some part of Pakistan. It rarely seen in Bangladesh also. It's in the vulnerable species and appendix 1 of CITES, and in Indian Wildlife Protection Act, it's in Schedule 1 category. This is the distribution of leopard in Odisha. Yeah, there is very much little cases in the eastern Ghats region of Odisha. That's why we take entire Odisha in this context, in the species of leopard. Let's see. In the Simlipa region, in the north of the Odisha, there is the 30% leopard in the total population of 30% leopard is present only in the Simlipa region. And in other regions like Gollamad Wildlife Sanctuary, Satavasya region, there are some leopard are present, and in 55% of the leopard is present in the protected areas, and the 45% of the leopard is present outside of the protected area. This is the current trend. And from 2022 to 2024, almost 22% of the increase in leopard is happening in Odisha only. These are the eastern Ghats region. Actually, it is in the project of ICSSR. These are 2 case studies. One is from the Noyagarh and another one from the Baleshwar. Let's go into human-wildlife conflict. These are the major reasons where the human-wildlife conflict is happening in Odisha. Mainly, it's livestock predation, poaching, habitat destruction, habitat fragmentation, human attack, and the resource competition. But the main thing is poaching. Poaching is occur regularly in every month there are 3-4 poaching incidents you will get to know from different news agencies and different newspapers. Livestock predation is occur also in different parts of Odisha. These are the anthropogenic factor and the ecological factor that drive the human-wildlife conflict in Odisha region especially. In the anthropogenic region, human settlement, habitat destruction, in habitat destruction and fragmentation, the road development, railway development also come inside that. These These are some of the injury cases that happened. This Sudangi, it's in Noyagarh region. 2 people is injured in January 14, 2025. Tolapada is Keonjhar. It's a heavily mining area. That Seriabal is Noapada. The Sunabela wildlife sanctuary is present there. Leopards spotted in CCTV in red. Nishinta Koili Kotak. But if you look at this thing, everything is present happening inside a protected area. Outside a protected area, nothing is happening. Because the people that are living inside the protected area, they are comes in contact with the leopard majorly. This is the estimate habitat destruction that driver in Odisha in the last 10 years. Mainly the mining area, mining Sundargarh, Keonjhar, Talcher, Anugul, that are majorly mining site in Odisha. Agricultural expansion, despite the habitat destruction, agricultural expansion is happening in Odisha. Infrastructure that are the industrial area like Talcher, Anugul, Jharsuguda. These are the major mining areas. Since 2001 to 2025, the amount of forest lost through the mining in different major mining site of Odisha. In Kandhamal, 47,000 hectares tree loss. Koraput, 8,700 hectares of tree are lost. Right now, Devamali is also in the consideration for mining due to the very rich bauxite in that region, Keonjhar and Sundar. These are the forest fire trends since 2021 to 2025 in Odisha. Despite the decreasing in the level of forest fire in Odisha, if you see 2025, it already to 3,033 hectares of forest fire already happening in 3 months till March. This data is from March. So the trend is showing this year it's going to be increased compared to the last year 4,067 hectares. And the forest fire incidents that occur, it's both anthropogenic and natural also. Anthropogenic is majorly happening due to the anthropogenic factor. These are one of the reasons. These are the Simlipal tiger region. When the road construction is going on, the development is going on inside the Simlipal region. These are the major roads that are going through inside the Simlipal tiger region. And the smaller one, we are didn't denote inside this. These are the latest project actually going on. This is not started yet. The Bolangir and Bhubaneswar railway line. From Bolangir to Bhubaneswar railway line, there are 2 major forest habitat that is present. One is Satakosia forest tiger reserve. Another one is the Noyagarh region, where the leopard population is increased by 100% compared to 2021 now. So this is the previous one, and now after the railway line going on, these are the destruction that is happening. In Odisha, the livestock depredation is one of the major factors that happening, and the farmers suffer from leopard depredation majorly. These are the estimated livestock depredation in Odisha 2021 to 2025. It's in 2024, this is much higher compared to 2025. That this data is till March, but right now the farmer is more into the forest official planning thing. They are doing their shelter for livestock more prominently. And in livestock depredation, the depredation of cow is majorly cow depredation is occur, then goat, and then the other animal like dogs. And if you compare day and night, the leopard movement inside the local area, in night time the leopard movement is more. 83%, as you collected 109 samples, 109 people, the people that suffer from livestock depredation, we asked them, and they said comparing their data, we get 83% of the leopard depredation is occurring in the night time. These are the latest leopard depredation thing, goat killing in Radharpur, it's in Sambalpur district, it's in Noapada. So if both the cow depredation and the cattle killing in Noapada, these are occurring inside the Sunavada Wildlife Sanctuary that is present in the Komunapur. Poaching is one of the major reasons that threatening the leopard population in Odisha. Despite the current trend of increasing leopard population, continuous poaching and trading is happening in Odisha. These are the different districts where the poaching is occurring from 2018 to 2025. In Noyagad, the poaching is majorly happening, and these are the 34 leopard is killed from last 5 years. The government data says 34 leopard is killed, and out of 34 leopard, 17 were killed due to poaching. These are the different case studies that I want to take. In this region, this is the case studies from Noapada district. In Noapada Sonavada Wildlife Sanctuary, they actually set a electric fencing to kill a wild boar and eat their meat. And they get a leopard, and after getting leopard, they also eat the meat from leopard during cooking. And government official arrest 2 people for that. This is a case study. It's recently. It is 6-7 days back in Bhubaneswar. They transferring the leopard skin. They get this leopard skin from Noyagar and they are transferring this to Karnataka. Actually, it is a case study from Baripada in the northern Odisha. And in these cases, there is a school teacher arrested. School teacher is involved in this thing, and it is also from Noyagar also. Yeah, people during our research, these are the different aspects where people are talking with us. Let's trust on forest officer because the communication with forest officer is very low. The mixed because the women perspective is they are very much shy with talking with each other. The road railway expansion, this is majorly happening in Bolangir Khordha railway line and the mining site that are Anugul, Sundargarh and Fulbani region. Industrialization and fear based. These are the compensations. These are actually the policy that government is applying towards the local people. But if you go to the tribe area, most of the local people they doesn't know how to get the compensation. From the government officer, there is a local officer and there is a middleman. When you get the 10 lakhs to a people from Malkangiri, the local people get only 7 and 8 lakhs and the middleman will take 3 lakhs in that region. The awareness is very much less in the tribal area. For house damage, 10,000 is this is the half this is not the full house damage. Half house damage they get 10,000. For 3,000 it's only the kitchen and different part of the house is damaged. And 5,000 to 25,000 is the boundary. If the boundary is completely concrete, then in each meter they are giving 5,000 to the sufferer and up to maximum up to 25,000. This is a photo from the wall of a divisional forest office. And these are the full house damage. For full house damage, they giving a house in the Antyodaya Gruha Yojana. These are the findings that I get. Conflict mainly occur inside a reserve forest. Mainly the outside of protected area in the reserve forest, the conflict is very much less as compared to protected area. Retaliation happening due to economic losses because the livestock killing is one of the major reasons for the retaliatory killing that is happening in Odisha. Less knowledge about the government protocol and the compensation scheme, and authorities are not paying proper attention. This is one of the major reasons that actually. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Rakesh. It was good. Any quick comments from anybody? Uh, Thank you. But I think what interesting thing that is coming up now from both the presentations is that we are beginning to understand the landscape, and we are beginning to understand the major issues in the landscape, how the land use patterns are changing, how different kinds of infrastructure development is happening, and how that is creating a kind of a pressure between certain predator organisms, predator animals, and human beings, and how communities are sort of responding to it. So whether they are looking at it from the government perspective or from the community perspective, what are their ideas? So we would like to hold some of these thoughts as we move forward and see how the next two presentations come out. Welcome. You have another 15 minutes.
Good evening all, and the respected IS and the chairman present over here, my respected scientists, researchers, and my good friends. Today I am going to deliver a topic that presentation is impact of climate change and forest fire on increasing human-elephant conflicts in Eastern Ghats region of Odisha. So now the question arises why I choose this region, because here we see that if we see India, there are four major elephant ranges are present. The here the Odisha, that the range present is here is Central Indian range, and we can see the Eastern Ghats present over here that consists 2,100 species of elephant, and as we know, the resources are depleting, and the recent trends show that the elephant have increased, and the human settlements also they increased, and the human population also increased. And you know, the Odisha economy is boosting, and new settlements and industry are new happening in this region. That's why the resource overlapping is being occurring. So there is a major conflict in Odisha. So you can see the trends. This is the data of Government of India. This shows the data from 2020 to 2024. Only Odisha have witnessed 629 human killing by elephant. This is the highest in any among any other states. So we can see the data here. Average annual death in India is 500, and at the same time, the elephant death also is occurring. And you can see 100 elephants die annually due to human-elephant conflicts. So we can see only in Odisha in 2023 and 24, 154 people have died due to elephant attacks. So and this is not the only the case. The present decade has witnessed 790 elephants have died due to various attacks, like elephants due to various attacks like human poaching and other factors like electrocution and train accident. This is highest among any other states. So we can see the various factors like this picture shows like the economic impacts that is happening in this region. This is my case study. That is crop trading. The crop trading, the elephants, they like to eat sugarcane and the other things like maize and rice paddy. So they migrate into these areas. When they migrate into these areas, the conflict occurs and the retaliation is also happening. And this is the environmental impacts like habitat destruction and disrupted migratory patterns, And here after that the community response also occurs. That is retaliatory killing and also the habitat destruction of the elephants. So my next slide. So we can see here. So we can see here the trends of the forest fire, and we can, as we see, between 2018 and 2023, more than 67,000 hectares have forest have resulted in destruction due to forest fire. And over this period, like in 2021, 1,73,000 fire points have been seen in Odisha. And this is the, I think this is the reason, that's why they have changed their route. I will show some case studies also. And not only these elephants, but also the forest dwellers like the tribals group, like the Munda, the Kondo and the Makiria tribes have also affected. And they are now lodging their forest rights, and due to their habitat destruction, and they migrate into other areas. So these are the trends in the forest fire in the past 5 years. You will see in the 2020, you will see here there are very few forest fires. Actually, according to a report of WWF, 70% of forest fire is occurring due to anthropogenic activities. And you see in 2021 the first fire is in highest, and 2022 up to 2025. And this is very important thing, that is climate change. As you can see, especially in Odisha, from 1995 to 2022, there was only change in 1 degree temperature. Average temperature was 1 degree, but in 2022 and 2024, 2 to 3 degree temperature have increased in various districts of Odisha. This is because I think this is happening because of the rapid industrialization and the increasing vehicles and the cutting of the forest. And that's why based on this research, I made some research question. That is, what triggers the human-elephant conflicts in the Eastern Ghats region in India? What is the magnitude of research overlap or sharing between these, and whether population increase or outage, all the factors. This is my study area, and this shows the elephant population. This is the highest population, and this area, you remember this, I will show you some interesting topics. And this area, the red area, is the highest occurrence of elephants in the state. More than 150 elephants in each district, they like Moribhanj, Keonjhar, Onugur, Dhenkanal and Kottayam. And occurrence is more, and Noyagad and Khordha subsequently less, 130, 100, 150, and preceding by Gonjam and Gojpati. And this we conducted a field survey to this area, and we done different transact methods and found some data, and made some questionnaire, and also asked people about their incidents of the conflict. And as per the questionnaire, we find out these areas, and we made a survey. So we found out, this picture shows, we found out that the factors responsible for wildlife habitat deterioration. The major factors are encroachment, escalating demand, and mass hunting. And you know, I will show you an example of mass hunting. In Odisha, especially in the tribal areas, they celebrate a festival called Chaitra Parva, and where they go to the forest and kill the various animals. Sometimes they kill elephants also, to show the people that they have killed an elephant. So, and you will see encroachment and escalating demand. So next, So this is the map of Bhubaneswar. This is Bhubaneswar in before and after. This is 2021 data and 2025. Here, this is Changaga Wildlife Sanctuary. Once the elephants were present here, were moving from this to this is Northern Canal. Now this path has encroached by humans, and you know there is a semiconductor industry is building here, and human settlements are getting evolved here. So their path is totally blocked here, and they are now converted their route and they move toward these areas. And here, like this place like Deras and Barapita, this region, Chatawa region, and human encounter is most in Khordha district. The elephant encounter with humans. So, this. So you can see here, the route is changed here. This is 20 to 30 kilometers area. They were once moved. Okay, and this is the very precious region that is the central part of the Odisha. Like you will see, this is the mining industry, especially iron ore mining. Iron ore mining, the elephants they move from the elephants they move from this region, Jharkhand region, and here we see West Bengal, and here we see the Similka. They were once moved through this region to central Odisha and Similka, and this region is captured by humans as various industry and mining industry and heavy vehicles are now ongoing. Their totally route is fragmented. So we can see from this map, please next. We can see these areas once, this is Jharkhand and this is Odisha, Keonjhar. This area was once covered by forest. Now it is totally depleted due to iron ore mining. You know, the iron ore mining in Odisha is among the top producer of the Odisha is the top producer of the iron ore mining. So the iron ore mining majorly produced from this region. So this region is totally fragmented, and you see the Olivu Reserve Forest and the Siddhamata Reserve Forest. They have converted their paths. They have converted their routes, and the routes have shrunken. That's why the maximum of the conflict is occurring in Keonjhar. So this is their foraging pattern. This is seasonal switching and local switching. Spatial foraging. I am showing you some better like spatial foraging. For the forage distribution, they like to go to when their habitat changes, and they see where there is water availability, shelter, and when there is food available. So, when they encounter with the human settlement, they destroy their habitats. You can see the images here. Out of the 84 households we surveyed, 80% of respondents are going through several mental stress. Actually, some of the persons have died, and their relatives were died. Some of them were behaving like they were mad. So the health issues they generally face, that is sleeplessness, direct physical danger like they may face injury or death, and the economic shocks like crop loss, property damage, food insecurity, poverty, and related mental state. And anger, sometimes they show anger to their relatives, and they have a conflict over themselves. And this trend shows the 2000. This graph shows the crop loss in areas in acres, and this shows the 2024 and 25 shows that 12,000 acres of forest have lost due to elephant attacks. This is very huge, and the affected farmers are around 48,000. So, and this shows the pattern of the this is a pattern of the human casualties and death due to elephants. And you can see every year they die more than 100. So, and this is a photograph taken by where I did my post graduation, my teacher, and this is a killing by poachers, and you can see entire trunk is cut, and here we come to the various conservation challenges like the insufficient anti-poaching, lack of awareness, and habitat neglect, and recreational poaching. And here is my way forward. Habitat development should be carried out in collaboration with communities, and the goal is to increase food, water, and the shelter available for the elephants in their regions, and enhancing their cover, and preserving mature trees as their removal may create large canopy gaps that negatively impact habitat quality. So, at last, I want to conclude in a way that the major conflicts I have found that we are capturing their lands, because I have seen that the industry is growing and we have captured their land. The map I have shown you in the Keonjhar region, that is entirely fragmented, totally fragmented. So that's why their route is blocked. They cannot move to the forest areas like Similipal, and they encounter is now increasing. So this will also increase. So thank you. We need to create some.
Thank you, Sridhar.
Yes, sir.
Just one clarification. Is the number of elephants in this area increasing, decreasing?
Yes, sir, increasing. Number of elephants increasing.
Number of elephants
Yes,
increasing. So that sort of strikes, because the previous presentation was also showing the number of leopards rising.
Yes.
And is the number of sloth bear also rising?
Actually, it is still now didn't define any sloth bear population, because as per the government guidelines, there was elephant census,
no
tiger
sloth bear
census,
census.
and in the tiger census, leopard census is also conducted. But there is no census for sloth bear.
Sloth bear.
The actual number of sloth bear didn't.
But what is the general understanding?
General understanding, according to the people perception, like day by day, the number increase, but their habitat use pattern is changes.
Okay. So that's another interesting question that's coming to my mind, as also the human population is also rising, the wildlife population is also rising. So something good is happening at both ends. So
But the forest area is decreasing.
maybe
due to
so.
various
No, that's a question. So maybe this interaction and conflict is a marginal issue, and we don't necessarily need to look at it because anyway their thriving populations are. I mean, just as a zoologist, I have to say. But
that is a fecundity right.
that's right. So now, of course, it's not as simplistic. I understand that. But yeah, so just hold that thought. I mean, why are we really so conscious, and why are we so? Is it because of these kind of pictures where you see a trunk cut off and you really feel
Disturbed.
revolted and you were disturbed? Or is it really something that hard science tells us that yes, there is an issue here and which we need to really understand and study? So this is one question that we would like to have a discussion on and understand. Thank you so much. Any other clarifications or comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Why forest fire? Actually, इसके साथ जो connection only forest fire दिया because
My question is related to that. Okay, so let's have one after another.
So why forest fire? Because in elephant का जो case आप बता रहे हो, अगर हम उड़ीसा particularly Western Ghats को देखा जाए, there are several reasons. One is the tusk trading. ये cross border trading बहुत बड़ा issue है. That's the reason actually a lot of elephant का death casualty जो देख रहे हो. Apart from that, अगर देखा जाए कि एक तो habitat loss बता रहे हो, but corridors in Odisha, it's damaged because of the development, mines and many other things. Corridor का study करने की बहुत जरूरी है because ये इसके सिमली फॉल से कुल्डिया आते हैं, ये बीच वाला खत्म हो गया है, स्टोन क्रशर से लेके माइनिंग से लेके सब खत्म हो गया है। सेकंड महुआ के लिए आते हैं गांव को, माइनिंग एरिया में भी जो लेबर काम करते हैं वो महुआ रखते हैं पीने के लिए, और साइड में कंटूर करते हैं, पर्टिकुलरली ट्रेंच कर दिया है अंदर नहीं जाने के लिए। स्टिल वो जो पोल होता है आपका इलेक्ट्रिक पोल, उसके ऊपर चले जाते हैं। दैट इज वन ऑफ द रीजन। एंड सेकेंडली वहाँ पे उसका बाम्बू खत्म हो गया है, केला खत्म हो गया पेड़, जैकफ्रूट खत्म हो गया है। एंड पैडी जब हार्वेस्टिंग होता है, पैडी के लिए वो आते हैं, वो हार्वेस्टिंग के टाइम पे आते हैं। हम बोलते हैं झारखंड आती, क्या बोलते हैं बंगाल आती, उड़ीसा आती नहीं, वो कहाँ से स्टेट का स्टाम्प लग गया है।
Just because of they come from the state, we recognize them
बट
as.
जस्ट टू कट कर रहा हूँ, उसको थोड़ा और डिटेल इन्वेस्टिगेशन की जरूरत है सर।
So actually the time is limited. I had all the information,
ठीक।
but so I deliver.
Yeah, please. Excellent. Continue.
So you have mentioned about climate change and fire in the forest. So whether is that the reason of mining which is happening in the Odisha?
Yes, sir.
or
In
the-
some cases,
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
It is quite interesting, all the studies about that the wildlife is increasing, it is a welcoming, but I read some of the article about that the estates and the government policies is main reason behind the wildlife is decreasing.
Decreasing.
But all the researchers says poaching is a major thing. They never touch about that estate and government policy. One where they talk about the trade tracks, but other people's not touched. There is no question about that or not. How we understand this issue?
So with that, if is there any kind of an intervention by the governmental policy, like post facto environmental clearance is cleared by the government as well as the Supreme Court recently?
Yes, sir.
Last 2 days
Yes, sir.
only,
Yes, sir.
CGI government says that the post facto environmental clearance is there to the all the projects like iron mining or the others. So क्या इसका somehow connection है वाइल्ड लाइफ और उसके?
सर एक बात बताना चाहता हूँ कि वेरियस एक्ट्स बनाए गए जैसे फॉरेस्ट एक्ट, वाइल्ड लाइफ एक्ट बनाए गए हैं, लेकिन जब हमारे इकोनॉमी की बात आती है तो ये सब काम नहीं करता है सर। एक्चुअली सर रियलिटी यही है सर।
Okay, let's get to the last one, and then we will develop this.
सर क्योंकि इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन एलिफेंट कॉरिडोर यहाँ पर है, मेजर कॉरिडोर केवंझर में, लेकिन जब माइनिंग के बात आता है तो देश का सवाल है, इकोनॉमी तो देश का भी बढ़ाना है, तो मेजर इंडिया प्रोड्यूस जो करता है लार्जली यहीं से ही प्रोड्यूस होता है। तो वी हैव टू कोएग्जिस्ट, बट देयर इज नो प्लान। द गवर्नमेंट इज not doing anything, actually not doing anything, and this is the first cover that is given. Sir, actually this is reality. Yesterday a person had come, a lady had come, that is from Gujarat Mining Authority. So she told that we have gone so much for this and we have planted some here for the Jagannath temple, and told that 48 the area that she gone there 48 degree temperature and very hot. I told her the fact that in 1990 the highest temperature recorded were 33 degree in that honorable district. Now this is 48 degree. This is because of the mining and the coal.
Well, it's not that simplistic. So we'll come to
It's
that.
very complex thing.
Yeah, it's a very
one
complex
side of
thing.
this story.
Yes, sir.
Let's hold on.
I have just one question. Sir, that you and the previous presentation both are talked about the wildlife increasing. Sir also pointed out that, but it's very that the data that you are suggesting with this as reference of your this point. So it's a government data that shows that it is increasing, or it's your personal study that
No,
shows.
sir.
Because the overall the recent data of elephant all over India, and it shows that the elephant population is hugely decreasing in India. If it is increasing in Odisha, so that means it's something happening over there, and that should be located in that's why I'm asking.
Sir, in other parts of Odisha, like in the Assam and the southern parts, like in Kerala, the population is decreasing there. But if you say that, see the trends in Odisha, due to the conservation efforts, the population has increased. This is as per the survey done in 2021 in November month. The population is 2,103.
So this is done by the Wildlife Department of.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Minister
sir.
of
Minister of
Yeah, Government of Odisha do twice census per year. One is summer census, another is winter census. Right.
Is this counting for the industrial migration of elephants? Because the elephants they keep moving between Jharkhand, Odisha and West Bengal.
We can't hear.
No, I mean, is this after counting the migration data of elephants? Because elephants keep migrating between
Yeah,
states.
that's important. I'm sure they would be doing that. I'm sure they would be looking into that. So, let's have the last
Can we
presentation.
discuss after that?
Yeah, yes. Let's have the last presentation.
So have a decant.
Demo.
काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, just customer ही लगा है। इसमें speaker problem है।
बैटरी खत्म हो गई। जोर से बोलना पड़ेगा आपको।
जोर से बोलो बस।
आप नॉर्मल बताओ।
Hello. Mic টা হাতে ধরো। Mic এর পাশে ধরো। ধরো।
फीडबैक
No, use.
ये माइक काम नहीं करता।
Good evening, everyone.
जोर से बोल दो, इससे काम नहीं करेगा, दोनों माइक काम नहीं करेंगे।
और speaker.
Just speak.
Hello. Fix it on your collar. Anyway.
Good evening, everyone. Well, respected chairman and DAS and my fellow researchers. Today I am going to present the human-snake interaction or conflict in eastern Ghats of Odisha, and as well as the snake society harmonious interaction, advancing conservation through community stewardship. How it works. First of all, we have to know why snake matters. Snakes are the part of the ecological cycles, and as well as snakes are the friends of farmers. As well as snakes are the pest controller, one type of pest controller, and as well as snake's venom is used as the anti-venom, which is a lifesaver from future. These are the global overview, how the snake bite death cases are occurs in the regions. This is the Indian overview. Snakebite death is occur every year, 58,000 per year, and in that 70% of the death cases are occurred due to the venomous snake bite, and as well as 30% of the snake are who bite the peoples are non-venomous, and 5% are deadly bites, which is highly venomous snakes. These are the big four snakes, which is Indian cobra, soft-scale viper, Russell viper, and common crabs. These are the distribution of these snakes. These are the snakes which are present in Odisha, which is 80 number of species of snakes are present in Odisha. These are the snakes. These are some are venomous snakes, these are non-venomous snakes, and some are mildly venomous snakes. These are the incident occurs in past time or past years. 1859 snake bite death reported in Odisha during 23 to 24 and 24 to 25. Snake bite death claimed life of 5 years old girl in Rayagada. These are so many cases are present. First of all, how habitat fragmentation and human perception shape the human-snake interaction. This is the question. And what is the overview of Eastern Ghats of Odisha? This is the region which we are our study area, and this is a government data which is show the 2015 to 2024, which is the changes in the snake bite death cases are gradually increasing or decreasing. This is the field data, field scenario of the snake bite death cases. Why the snake bite death occurs? This is agriculture. When the farmers are working on the field, this time the snakes are biting to them. These are the fear and misconception. Due to the fear and misconception, because the peoples of the local peoples do not know which are the venomous snake, which are the non-venomous snake, so that they think snake is dangerous to us, so they kill every snake which is non-venomous, which is not dangerous to them. This is the habitat loss. Due to habitat loss, the snakes are moving one side to another side. They are killed in roadkill. Roadkill snakes are heavily affected. This is the urbanization. Due to urbanization, 26.76% snakes are affected. This is the Eastern Ghats of Odisha, and these are the cases are present. In these pictures, in some time we are thinking the snake is the negative perception. In this time, a snake is biting this man, so that this is a negative interaction. In that time, the snake is dead. In that area, in that cases, the human is the negative person in that case. These are the cases. This is the district-wise snake-wise death data which is present in our Odisha government data cases. And what are the consequences? If the drivers of human-snake conflict, mainly four drivers are present: fear and misconception, habitat loss, agricultural practice, or urbanization. What are the consequences? Decline of many forest-dependent snake species. If the species are depending on local species, and another one is local extinction in fragmented habitat. Next one is ecosystem imbalance due to rodent population surges. Next question arises: how does community stewardship help to mitigate the problem? Odisha Snake Helpline is a national model for volunteer-led coexistence. If we train the rescue statewide, 2,000 plus then they can help the peoples. An awareness campaign should be conducted in school or village level. What we can do if a snake is bite us, what can do or what not to do. This is the pictures. Visual outreach. When we are going to the villagers, we can interact with them, how their perception towards the snakes or wildlife, and what they think about. If a snake is biting them, then what are they do? What they do? And some areas in cultural connection is also present in snake. Conservation and policy framework. These are the organization which is working on the snake conservation or the mitigate the snake bite populations. These are the percentage composition of rescue snake species. If the snakes are rescued, snake is rescue, the percentage of the rescue snake, Indian rock python, Indian spectacle cobra, and the Russell viper. These are the percentage, and we have to conduct this snake bite awareness day, which is already present. What are the future directions? Youth training and eco clubs in school, because the school level education is so important for the future generations. They have to know what is wrong or what is right. Improve anti-venom distribution network in rural Odisha, because there are so many places which are the anti-venom is not present due to so many deaths occurs. Expansion of digital tools or snake ID or first aid awareness. These are the softwares which is help to identify the snake. These are the some people are also believe in the traditional knowledge system. They are use Ayurvedic treatment, which is sometimes works or sometimes not works. So these are the first aid treatment, what to do or what not to do, or how to avoid snake bite death. These are the things. What is the plan for the future? First of all, we have to protect natural habitat and wildlife corridors. Second one is support trained rescuer and community volunteers. And third one is promote snake awareness through school and NGOs, and integrate traditional belief with modern science coexistence. We have to believe in the traditional knowledge with the advanced technology. These are the field photos or interaction with peoples. This is our team.
Thank you. I think that's a wonderful finale we had. Thank you for all the presenters. I think what we learned today is a beautiful overview of a particular landscape in Odisha, the Eastern Ghats landscape, where we have a broad understanding of four different species, and in relation to that, we are trying to understand the human development dimensions and what is actually happening to the habitat and what is leading to this conflict. So some of the drivers we discussed, and we also discussed some of the mitigation strategies and how you are very painstakingly, all the researchers have collated information, specific cases, specific kills, specific conflicts. So of course you have a much richer experience and understanding, and we just got a small flavor out of it. So let's give them all a good round of applause for all the hard work that they have done. And let's hope that we will do it better. So may I now request Professor Sharma to say a couple of words.
So thank you very much. Of course, thin population, but very interested people. I would like to share you one thing, that when evolution was going on, origin and evolution, I am a biologist. Nature never knew that species would come on Earth that would make the entire changes. These organisms never develop the way we are developing, or we are going through the various ways of the development, diverting elephants, diverting snakes, diverting sloth bear, everything. But since I am part of this team, Dr. Anjan, please come with all the team members. You come, Rakesh, also. Please come. This is the team. We are going. Please come. We are going in the forest. See, I have been a molecular biologist, sitting in a laboratory, wet laboratory, understanding DNA and publishing paper. But when I came in contact with Dr. Anjan, going to forest is not an easy thing. When I was passing from Vishakhapatnam to Koraput, I saw the Eastern Ghats. In the Eastern Ghats, going is really a thrill. These boys are working excellent under the guidance of Dr. Anjan, number one. We should have a big hand. Second thing is, Supreme Court has realized, you know, what is happening with these developments. Supreme Court has realized on 13th December 2024, perhaps many people they don't know, when Shailendra Mani Tripathi brought a PIL before the justice, now he Chief Justice Gawai, he said 58,000 people are dying every year and 39 lakh people we have lost after independence. Then Chief Justice asked the lawyer, repeat the number. And when he repeated the same number, he said no discussion and PIL is granted. Today I received a message that human-wildlife conflict and the death of the human being, then the compensation, it's a direction of the Supreme Court, compensation should go 10 lakh. But you know, this is not going to solve the situation. When we are developing, when in the name of the development, whatever we are doing, anywhere mining, anywhere disturbing the fragmentation and defragmentation. So I think we should go judiciously. Now the time has come. Through such conferences, we should convey to the society that now coexistence is required. If we will not go through the coexistence, wildlife will also increase, like they have shown in their population, and the human beings would also increase. In one of the presentations, I think Dr. Anjan told that we need 1.7 time more earth. This is the earth for habitation of the human being as well as the wildlife. So, dear friends, now time has come when such studies should be encouraged, number one. Earlier, since British period, snake bite was considered as neglected tropical disease. Many people in India, they don't know. But J.P. Nadda ji declared in the parliament that this should be considered
60,000 years jumped from being in the middle of the food chain to the top of the food chain. That is not evolution. That is something which nature can't handle really. So it is a different kind of a situation. And yet most of the species around us as we speak, they are adapting to the ways in which human beings are altering the landscape. So whether it is the elephant or whether it is the snakes, they're all changing in some ways. Look at the ways in which we have the urban areas where bird populations are changing. Look at the way the behavior of various animals and even other smaller organisms, they're also changing around us. So everybody is adapting to one species which is really altering the landscape. And you spoke about 1.7 times the Earth. This is Johann Rockström's idea of the planetary boundaries. And we have crossed the planetary boundaries in many ways, including the climate issues, many things we have really crossed. Nitrogen is one. When it comes to biodiversity and when it comes to wildlife, there's a big question mark. Nobody knows where are we. So, and this is a real issue. If we focus on a few issues like this, few animals or plants, maybe there is an effort to conserve a few species, and that species population will go up. What will happen is, of course, there would be a lot of, the conflict will also go up. and the conflicts will show up as headlines in our newspapers, and that has its own impact. So how are we going to look at all of this? We have to have a much more holistic, a much more inclusive way of understanding ecology. So how do we bring ecology as the underpinning system? So unless we understand the ecosystem, we understand the ecological connectivities, how do we move from where we are to where we are going? Is it a blindfolded kind of thing that, okay, just go ahead, steamroll, and we just have infrastructure, we just have urbanization? No, it has to be ecologically sound. And this is exactly the reason why you mentioned that I am now talking as myself as a development ecologist. I believe, yes, infrastructure should be there. But while you are creating infrastructure in some of these sensitive zones, there are simple ways. You can go underground. If that is more costly, you can go over, which is what Rajgir is doing. Nitish is doing the same thing. We have a small patch of protected area in Rajgir, and he himself, as the chief minister, said, I don't want anybody cutting through it. We just have a elevated road, elevated corridor. So it's a brilliant way. I mean, we should do it more as a standard practice, right? Rather than trying to think that, okay, we need to cut costs and we have to sort of do it. No, we have to think long term. We have to think as a sustainable development kind of an alternative. So now I think it's great that you have come up with this kind of an understanding idea. Groundwork has been done in order to put together the people, the understanding, the basic understanding, and some amount of work has gone into collecting the information. Very specific information has been collected. So putting all this together, how do we move forward? What is the next step? How do we really convert this into something which has the solid ecological and scientific underpinning, which is convincing enough for society, which is communicated to lay people's language, which is explained, understood by the common people around? And how do we think about, because people, as you rightly said, that some people will, I mean, when it was a coexistence of tribes with wildlife, there used to be hunting, right? But that hunting had a method. So it was not a rampant hunting, right? So can we bring back some of those elements? Can we think of how the tribal lifestyles and tribal lives can be improved, managed, protected, give them certain limited stewardship options and see whether they are able to manage? There is enough evidence from Africa, from India, from many of the global south, that how local communities, how traditional communities, they do manage, which apparently for an industrial person may not look very scientific, but they have a method of how they do it. How much do we understand those? So when we talk about coexistence, we need to really empathize. We really need to step into the shoes of the traditional communities and begin to think how it is possible, right? And I'm not saying that we all turn back into the clock, but what are the lessons? How can we bring those lessons into the current policy making system? That's something which is the crying need of the hour. So thank you all for this wonderful presentations, and thank you for bringing it up.
Very nice.
Thank you, sir. So sir, just a final remark is, that is how we have identified the way the landscape has been fragmented. Fragmented has been our approach as well.
Yes.
Across the spectrum, across the fraternity. Perhaps this project, that is what we are trying to consolidate all the approach and trying to do our, let's hope time will say. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
A token of gratitude from our